It's semi-final time. Yep, we're hitting 2 more beers to find the ultimate Northern Monk beer in the supermarkets. But which one is going to win? Today, we are in the semis. We have got Vague and we have got Amy Hastings. Keep watching to find out which one will make it to the final. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we are at the semi-final stage of this very exciting competition. I'm sure that you are bubbling with excitement. Obviously we released 4 lots of quarterfinal heats, and there's been a lot of comments from people in terms of which one they think is best, and I think there's a fair consensus in terms of which one is the best beer. I'm not going to say it now, but let me know in the comments if you know already and this is your first video that you've had. Today, though, we are playing off 2 Faith in the Futures. First one is the Vague IPA. This one won through. It beat the Tank Petrol. This is an Asda beer. It's a hazy IPA at 6%. And that is up against well, you might notice it's a brand new beer. And it's not one that went through the quarters. So the Laura Slater Citra IPA from Waitrose. It beat the Lucy Ketchen IPA from Sainsbury's. Got to remember all these girls' names. But when I went back to Waitrose to get hold of Laura Slater, no longer available. But what was available was another brand new beer. Now, having reviewed this, I don't know what it's like. This is another female artist, Amy Hastings. It's a double dry hopped hazy IPA at 6.5%. Don't know what the hops are, but instead of having to do another series of heats and stuff, I'm sure everyone just wants to get to the end now and they know which one they think is going to win. I'm going to put this one through as a sort of replacement for Laura Slater IPA, Citra IPA. So we've got this one, which we have no idea what it's like. Could be the best beer Northern Monk have ever released, against this one, which I think is a pretty damn good beer. It's probably it's the newest of the Northern Monk IPAs, well, apart from obviously this one, in the supermarkets, and I like it. And I thought it was worthy of beating Tank Petrol. But wonder what this one's going to be like. So you come into the semi-finals by, a full start. Someone's fallen over. This is like the sort of, maybe this is Ollie Watkins. He's got into the squad, or even Tony, really. They're both in the squad as at this time, I think. I think the announcement was today, or it's, certainly they are pretty much in the squad. So one of them are literally as if Harry Kane's fallen over. That's what this is equivalent to. But anyway, I'm trying to get their football analogies in, but let's go for it. We got the branded glass, we got the non-branded glass. We're gonna put Vague in the non-branded, and we'll put Amy Hastings in the branded. So I'm just gonna pour them out, and I'll show you what they look like, and then we'll do the usual sort of how it, what they look like, what they smell like. And obviously, more importantly, what they're going to taste like. I poured that one a little bit aggressively, so hopefully that will calm down by the time this one is poured out. Just get a feel that, when you pour in 2 beers, you've got to do them fairly quickly, because otherwise you're just going to hear me pouring beers out. Right. But even that one's quite aggressive. Right, so I'm going to show you them. Beers in a glass. Looking at them, they look quite similar. I would say that they're both pretty hazy. They're both sort of more on the golden, yellowy, orange colour. They're more towards yellow than orange, I would say. Pretty damn hazy, although they're a bit lighter at the bottom. The Vague one, I think, is slightly lighter. This one's got a slightly, I don't know if it's a darker colour, or it looks slightly hazier. Both similar in terms of the head, compacted, just off white, 2 fingers of head, I'd say, with those. Right, let's see what they smell like. Well, we know Vague, really. Lots of tropicalness, sweet orange, peach. A real sort of mixture, but very sweet and very inviting in terms of that aroma. And I'd also say, it wouldn't surprise me if this is going to taste different in a way that better or worse than last time, if that makes sense. Because supermarket beers, I think, you can pick one out one day and there isn't a consistency because the way they're stored. Sometimes they're sitting in the back under heavy lights, or they're even on the stand in heavy lights. They get touched, mauled, people drop them, put them back on the shelf, all that sort of stuff. So I think that you can get, it's a bit of a lucky dip. Right, Let's see what the aroma's like. I'm going to try the new one. We've done the aroma, that one. We're going to try the aroma of this new one. So Amy Hastings, see what that smells like. I wouldn't say it's as potent in the aroma. Definitely more on the orange side. Mango. Smells all right. I mean, both of them have got a real sweet, juicy sort of aroma. But, you know, if I'm going to say it once, if I said it 100 times, I probably haven't said it 100 times, but I've said it a few times on all these reviews. They are very, very similar, all these beers. There is this suspicion that they are all basically the same beer. Maybe one or another's got a slight difference. But I mean, the difference in ABV, this one's double dry hop. This one isn't double dry hop, but ultimately they're all Faith of the Futures, and one of it's just the wrapper that's different. There's definitely more, you can get more citrus coming through on this one. Right, I'm going to do a taste test. We'll go for the new contender first. So cheers, everyone. Let's describe that one first. So you're getting that orange and you're getting passion fruit, but there's something a little bit more grassy, a little bit more weedy in there. Almost as if they've got something, if it's got something like strata in it. Yeah, there's definitely something a bit earthier. And you get much more grapefruit in it. Actually, it's a bit more complex than a lot of these IPAs from Northern Monk. Sweetness up front, well, then it's got that, it's double dry hop, so you do get that dryness really. And then that comes down into a bit of sort of grapefruit. There's a little bit of earthiness. There's something else in there, a little bit grassy, sort of, I won't say piney, but there's something a bit grassier sort of in the flavour there. All right, let's go to the Vague. I don't know, drink that now and it just tastes very similar. I don't remember that tasting like that before. This is what I'm saying, that sometimes in the supermarkets, the beers can develop its flavour. I don't know if they develop their flavours, but it's definitely a different twang. Whether that's almost because of, again, environment. I think when you drink a lot of supermarket beers, and let me know what you think about this in the comments, is that sometimes you can drink them and they taste really good, and sometimes they don't. I think with supermarket beers, especially, and certainly for me, is that I might drink. I mean, I've probably had this one at least four or five times. Reviewed it. Obviously, I reviewed it in the quarters, and I'm drinking it now. So this is the third time, even recently, I've had it. But I've also had it in between as well. So I've had it 4 times. And I think the thing is with a lot of these beers that I usually buy from the bottle shop is that I'll drink one, even if it's like, you know, a Track or a Polly's or a Sure Shot or a Asvex, any of those, I won't drink it. I won't buy 2 cans of it, and I won't go back and buy another one because by the time I've gone back, it's not available and there's some other new one from that brewery. So, but supermarkets are different because you drink more of them, of the same beer. And I think what's weird is that they seem to taste different each time slightly. And that could be, you know, what you've eaten before. If you've eaten something before, if like I've had a couple of peanuts before, or, you know, how you're feeling. If you're thirsty, gasping for a beer, I think that really makes a difference. It's a bit of a strange thing to say, but obviously we're talking about an organic liquid with alcohol in it that can develop and change in the can depending on its environment. And I think these taste, to me, a little bit more interesting than they did last time I had them. I think that's a really good beer, the Vague. I think it's got that fruitiness. It's certainly smooth. It's one of the smoothest out of them all. But it sort of stops a little bit in terms of its flavour. It doesn't do much else in the glass, really. You don't get that sort of complexity on the back end. This beer, it's smoother than I think it's smoother than the likes of Heathen, for example, and even maybe Transient. But it's got that similar sort of flavour. There's something in there that it's given it a bit more earthiness, a bit more complexity. I think that's what we found with a lot of the other beers like I think Transient, even Order of the Faith that lost out to Transient, and the other one, Haven, as I was saying. This is similar. It's definitely got more dryness straight away. It's not as fruity. There is a little more weediness and earthiness in there. I would almost think it's got something, not quite strata, hasn't quite, but it's close to that. It may be one of those other sort of hops like that we don't have that often, like Columbus or something like that. Whereas this one, there's definitely a little bit more sweetness in there. And I think it's probably got Citra Mosaic and maybe something that's like El Dorado even, or sort of maybe just Citra Mosaic. It's another, the trouble with all these heats, it's quite a difficult one, this one. I didn't think I was going to be drinking them quite through, and I'm trying to work out which one is better out of these two. I'm going to give it to Vague. Vague has made it to the final. Great can artwork, by the way. I mean, this is quite pretty. I mean, they obviously have lots of artists that they work with. It's great, get artists, give them a bit of exposure, and then they do their art for them, which is a little bit sneaky. But this is a great artwork. But I think this one is the best. Looks cracking in the glass. It's got that level of sweetness. It's not boring to drink. There's a little bit more complexity. But they just flavours sing and dance a little bit more on the tongue, really, and it's very smooth in terms of compared with the others. So I think Vague is worthy of the final. This isn't a bad beer, and I would say, because I'm not going to probably review it individually, but let me know if you've had this from Waitrose, because I still think it's a pretty good beer, and I think it's worthy of coming into the semis, and compared to the beers that didn't make it to the semis. It's up there. For me, it's got that smoothness that I really like in a beer like this. And I think some people will like the fact that there's this sharpness to it. There's an earthiness, a bit more to it. But the thing is, it doesn't sing quite as loud, I suppose, as the Vague. So Vague goes through to the final. Who's it gonna meet in the final? I know that a lot of you are thinking it's going to be Transient. Transient will be up against Horde in the next semi-final. Who's going to win that one? Who's going to come up top? Can Vague take the cup? Well, you have to keep watching and subscribe to find out if that's going to happen. So I hope you've enjoyed this little thing. I hope you've enjoyed these things. I know they're dragging on a bit. I was going to think whether I do all four of them together as a final, but I'm going to drag it out a little bit longer, and then I'm going to take a big step away from supermarket beers for a while and drink some decent stuff. So hopefully, please subscribe and you get to see all those videos. Hope you like the backdrop. I mean, looking at my backdrop, it's just like I'm in a bloody tropical garden here, or in some forest sort of thing. My garden is very green at the moment. So hope you're enjoying these videos and they're out in a different environment as well. And until the next one, you know what you do. Drink good craft beer and keep on rocking.